Whenever you go onto the circuit, first of all, is you must always respect it. It's one of those places that can bite you really, really quickly. But, you leave the pits and normally, you leave the pit, you jump in the car and within seconds you're onto the Mulsanne straight and you're doing, well over 200 miles an hour. So it doesn't take long before you adrenaline starts to run and it's super, super exciting.
200 miles an hour, but you're in your Bentley, very powerful, but very small, very tight cockpit. You don't feel trapped in a way?
No, it's funny, because the cars are, I guess, like little fighter jets, but, you spend such large amounts of time in the car. It's kind of like your office. It's funny because when you're in the car, it's quite calm, actually, in some respects, because out of the car, we have all the meetings and the media and the press and all the rest of it. And actually, it's quite hectic and quite busy. Once you get into the car, it's really actually quite calm. And, we can be in the car for up to sort of 3 to 4 hours at any one time. So it certainly gets quite hot in there, that's for sure.
So this is really the ultimate test then of endurance driving. Why do you do it?
Well, I mean, you're right. It's the ultimate test of man and machine. With the Le Mans 24 hours, obviously, every time we do a stint as a driver, we're in the car for, as I said before, maybe 3, 4 hours at a time, which is, well, it's a Grand Prix distance and a half. So, and then we get to about 4 or 5 hours rest and then back in the car again. It's like doing another Grand Prix and then get some rest and then do another Grand Prix. So from a driving point of view, from a driver's point of view, it's very, very physical. And more impressively than that is the fact that the cars themselves do, in 24 hours, do the equivalent of a full Grand Prix season. So it really is the ultimate test of both man and machine. And to conquer it or, even to finish the race is a huge achievement.
So 4 Grand Prix seasons within 24 hours, it must mean your adrenaline is racing. Do you actually sleep in that time?
It's really difficult. When you're at the circuit, obviously you can hear all the cars. There's fireworks going off. There's all kinds of different noises. I think what we try and do is we get these little pods that we kind of sleep in. I think everybody's different. Some people do manage to sleep quite well. Some people not so well. I personally kind of doze off where you are aware of your surroundings and what's going on around you, but at the same time, your body kind of shuts down and gets some rest. So
What do you do to prepare?
well, I mean, there's different ways to repair. I mean, obviously, from a technical point of view with the car, we do lots of testing, development. We do, before the 24 hours, we actually do several 30-hour tests. So we push the car to the limits and beyond and trying to find any weak points that may come up in that 24 hours. So from the driver's point of view, a lot of physical training, although we're sat on our bums for a large period of the time, it is pretty physical. So if you can cross the finish line and finish or win the race, then it obviously makes it all worthwhile.
Indeed, can you remember the feeling when you crossed the finish line in
I can,
2003?
I can, yeah, sure. I mean, they gave me the honour of finishing the race, but it was actually the last 2 hours of the race that I did, and I remember listening to every engine, the engine note and every gear shift, thinking, oh, if anything was to break or fail right now, with 2 hours to go, it'd be heartbreak. And of course, last year Toyota were literally seconds away from winning the race, and they had a technical failure. So Le Mans can do that to you. It can be cruel, but for me, luckily everything went well and was able to bring it over the line.
And do you remember how you celebrated?
I think we were all pretty exhausted. I think it was not exactly rock and roll, but I think I had a big English breakfast. But I think we were all pretty tired. I mean, the adrenaline, once that wears off, you start to feel pretty tired. And actually the following day, we drove the race car down the Champs-Élysées in like a convoy, and that was pretty cool. So it took a good week until it really sunk in that we'd actually won it.